Hi, my name is Henrique Simões and I am in the last year of my doctorate at the State University of Campinas. The title of my thesis at the moment is Governance of the Campinas Protected Area and Effects on its Atlantic Forest Fragments. My advisors are Simone Aparecida Vieira and Cristiana Simão Seixas. Environmental governance institutions and systems are constituted by the distribution of power and responsibilities between formal and informal organizations and other stakeholders participating in decision making. Discussions forums between beneficiaries, researchers, and managers enable the confrontation of multiple interests in the search for the socioeconomic development with environmental sustainability. Our investigation seeks to understand how the development and implementation of conservation instruments affect ecosystems and ecosystem services provided by Atlantic forest fragments using the protected area of Campinas, APA de Campinas in Portuguese, as a case study. In the first chapter entitled Trends and Land Use and Land Cover Change, Key Knowledge to Manage the Atlantic Forest Transition, we evaluate the changes and trends in land use and land cover in the APA de Campinas, seeking a better understanding of the phenomenon of forest transition already identified in previous studies. The results demonstrate that secondary succession process in abandoned pastures and governance and management instruments such as zoning plans contributed to the increase in these forest areas, which went from 10.1% to 21.4% of the total area between 1985 and 2022. Our land use and land cover change results also found a decreasing trend for pasture lands, while strongly increasing trends for urban infrastructure and planted forest areas. From the transition analysis per 5 year intervals, we observed major gains in natural forest cover in 1990, 1995, and 2010-2015, while significant losses in 2000-2010. These patterns observed within the APA are also observed from the municipality and metropolitan levels, however, different from the state and biome levels. Landscape metrics of natural forest cover indicate an increase in the number of the patches and a decrease in isolation. The temporal analysis of soil carbon stock for the entire APA region, data from annual soil organic carbon maps, 30 centimeters map bioma solo beta collection, indicated losses due to the expansion of urban infrastructure and gains near water courses. In the second chapter, entitled Conserving and Connecting Forests, a methodological proposal for prioritizing areas for conservation and restoration of forest fragments, ecological corridors, and water source areas, we seek to produce, through simple procedures for identifying and prioritizing areas, a set of information that subsidize actions by protected area management councils. In addition to identifying priority areas by intensity of changes in land use and cover, we also identify the properties where these priority areas are located so that managers, together with owners and other stakeholders, can form groups to promote joint conservation and recovery actions, remaining forest, ecological corridors areas, and water sources areas. To describe the proposed methodological procedures, we carry out a pilot analysis at the APA de Campinas for the period from 1985 to 2022. In the third chapter, entitled Governance and Decision-Making in the Campinas Protected Area, we carried out a systematic review of the literature already published on governance and management related to the APA de Campinas region. This chapter makes up the fifth part of the first diagnosis of biodiversity and ecosystem services of the APA de Campinas, carried out by our study group. It follows the structure of the diagnosis of the Brazilian and Intergovernmental Platforms for Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services, BPBES, and IPBES, but at a local level. The other four axes deal with biodiversity, ecosystem services, and human well-being, drivers of change, and land use and cover. Each chapter has an executive summary that contains the key information collected and a more detailed presentation of the findings. Finally, in the fourth chapter, we carried out a documentary analysis of 290 minutes of ordinary and extraordinary meetings of the Management Council of the APA de Campinas, CONGEAPA, from 2005 to 2023, 19 years. Around 77 participating organizations were identified throughout the analyzed period. 22 from the first group, public sector, 23 from the second group, civil society, and 32 from the third group, third sector. 4,240 classifications were assigned to 2,663 citations from 66 codes divided into 5 categories: ecosystems and biodiversity 60%, governance and management 69%, water resource and basic sanitation 5%, tourism and leisure 11%, and other vectors of change 9%. Also using the ground theory analytical approach as continuity and confirmation of emergent phenomena from the analysis carried out in the minutes, we will carry out interviews, open and semi-structured, with counselors, representatives of organizations, and beneficiaries of ecosystems services provided by Atlantic Forest Fragments. Thank you for your attention. Feel free to comment, ask, or suggest any ideas, okay? Bye!